dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown, down the rabbit hole, where it stops no one knows. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown.
Hi again, everybody. Sunny and Melissa. Thanks for giving up your entire friggin' day today. I appreciate that. What was everybody doing? That was wild, was it not? Am I right?
Yeah, the
Yes,
whole day. Thank you,
it's
Charmaine, for everything
definitely
that you're
been a
doing
wild
today.
day.
Yeah, sure you're
What was
exhausted.
that? Yeah, this is crazy. I definitely did not have this planned, and great. I mean, I'm good with it. Anybody that wants to talk, always welcome here. And of course, today marks 1 year since Jack and Lily disappeared into thin air without a trace. So we've devoted our entire day to talking about the case, and I am so thankful that you both are here with me today. And yeah, also to Daniel, thanks for coming out. Kent for organizing that vigil rally, and Belinda for speaking, and whoever that brave little girl was who decided Jack and Lily deserved somebody to stand up and talk for them. Am I right? What do you guys have a little bit of time to reflect on what we saw there? What do you think? Have you changed your mind at all about what we saw?
Have what? Sorry?
Of the rally or vigil or whatever, and just the lack of really anything.
Nope.
Anything
Nope. Let
just
sent a message to Belinda saying about that. To be honest with you, at that, but no, no, still angry.
did she get back to you at all?
No, but I didn't really expect her. Like she's having like this is a hard day for her, and I'm sure she will. She always does. But it's a hard day for everyone that cares about Jack and Lily.
For sure. What about you, Melissa? I know that you were backstage and then on stage with Daniel there. You haven't had a whole lot of time to reflect, but have you thought about it anymore?
I have, and I don't know, it still makes me mad. You know, I still don't understand how they can't come out and say something. And like I said before, they could have handed them the mic and they've been off camera, said something, anything. God bless that little girl who had the nerve, and thank goodness for her parents or her grandparents or whoever was with her that said, yeah, go ahead, go up there and say something. If you want to say something, go, because I'm sure she had permission to do so. But she seemed like, besides family or a coordinator or an RCMP officer, seemed to be the only one with balls enough to get up there and say something. And I thought it was really sweet. But the fact that family couldn't say anything besides Belinda still just really gets under my skin.
Yep.
Couldn't agree more. I don't understand it. And I don't think I ever will understand No matter how many excuses we hear, I don't get it. I don't get it. So Sunny has been taking a break, doing her own thing. And so I don't exactly know where you left off, what you know. So kind of, I know that your opinions haven't changed much at all, but do you just want to kind of recap where you left off, if you can remember?
Um, no, I actually don't remember. It's 2 months ago. But I mean, I left off. Okay, there was I think that basically I always have to do a live because it's coming because I want to do a live. I really just felt that there was nothing more. Like I know that there's in the sense of, doing lives, keeping Jack and Lily's case, out there, but there's other channels, of course, out there. So for me, I was just at a point of when I start feeling exhausted but there was nothing that at any point anymore that I can keep repeating about the case because so obviously Daniel wasn't speaking anymore. Everyone kind of was just dropping off for the most part, right? Belinda's got a lot of her own stuff going on, like meaning with Jack and Lily and stuff, and going on, and there's always a voice and stuff like that for sure. And Chelsea, but I just was at a point where every time I thought to do a live, there was nothing in me that wanted to do the live because there was no new news. And I know that at the end of the day, no matter what, the answers will have to come through RCMP and, of course, any evidence to the case. So for a long time, we talk about, Daniel and his inconsistencies and all that stuff and Malaya and blah, 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 family, whatever friends, family are saying. But then there comes that point where, like most cases get, where it's like nothing. And I'm not into the drama of the whole situation going on. So I felt like every time I wanted to do a live, I was just like, no, there was nothing in me that said, yeah, like I want to keep talking about the same stuff over and over and over and over. I don't want to feed into just the BS that's going on out there between people. And so, yeah, so it just, next thing I know, it turned into 2 months and I'm good with that, to be honest with you. I've needed this break. It's been a long 5 years, of constantly doing lives and working full time and then doing lives for Jack and Lily, pretty much like, if not every single day near the start, it's just after a while, you just need a break. And it's been a perfect time. And I just, keep wanting answers for Jack and Lily. And it was nice that this, I won't say nice because I really think that conference was a bunch of nothing, just repeated stuff that they always keep telling us. I didn't take away anything from that at all because I already feel like they've already said a lot of things. And there was nothing that they said in that press conference that I was like, ooh, juicy news. Nothing, whereas no. So it was nice to see that come out. And of course, the vigil, regardless of if we felt underwhelmed by the lack of presence from family members, it's still about Jack and Lily, regardless, about finding answers for them, even if they don't want to partake in the vigils or do whatever. That's their right if they want or not want, but it's not my cup of tea personally. When 2 children are missing, and then of course they showed a search video and stuff like that. And so it was nice to see a couple things more come out again. I know that you were talking about with Daniel with this AI thing. I hadn't heard of that when and he hadn't either, by the AI specialist, cyber specialist or whatever. But I totally agree with that one. That one's totally fed off of what's out there on YouTube. So that one I don't even put no credit into, to be honest, just because AI is focused on stuff that's out there, and AI can be so wrong about stuff because of that. Anyway, so the 1 year's coming up today, and I just wanted to be part of it, of course, on your channel today, and still know that I love and support for Jack and Lily. and everyone. And I think Kent's in there, or Kent was great. Someone said, and yeah, Kent, love to you very much for all you do for Jack and Lily and everybody else that puts in the effort. But anyways, so I mean, this is tempting me to freaking do lives after today. I'm telling you.
Well, at least you have some new content, anyways,
Yeah.
that you can talk about. Now, Melissa, we are in a unique situation that I never dreamed in a million years that we would be in. But if you could pick just a handful of things that have gone on in the last 2 months that you just think Sunny needs to know,
Mm,
what
top notch.
are those things?
I don't know I don't know, because I mean, honestly, if we look at it, nothing major has changed in the last month or 2 months, really. The only thing is Malaya showed up to a search to hand out water and whatever.
Woo.
But I mean, really, there has not been a big change. I mean, there's been Anita drama, but I think that's all that is. It's just drama. So I don't know.
That's that's kind of what I mean. Like, does Sunny need to know about the Larry Cameron situation? Does Sunny need to know about the Anita shit? Does Sunny need to know about the shenanigans stuff? Like, is there anything that you feel like Sunny should know before, you know, stepping back into things?
Um, like as far as the Larry stuff, no, I think it's kind of irrelevant that he took the site that he did down. So it's not like she could go look at it anyway. Um, like I said, Anita's just drama. So, and as far as shenanigans, no offense to Sunny here, but it doesn't really affect her. As you know, it didn't include her. She isn't the one that got accused of things. She isn't the one that called out the BS like I did. Um, so you know
For what? For what
that's
stuff?
not on her.
For what stuff? What, Melissa?
So I called out shenanigans for essentially being okay with what Daphne did with selling the unredacted files, and kind of told her how I felt about it. And she has tried to come back at me, but we'll go over that tomorrow. But she wanted to cause some crap, and she's going to get served hers, and is what it is. It's literally just that. It's drama. It's the behind the scenes bullshit, and it's
Brand.
irrelevant to Jack and Lily and finding Jack and Lily. That's not um important as to where are Jack and Lily, what happened to Jack and Lily. That drama isn't going to answer any of those questions. So
Yeah, that stuff I stayed away from. I
Yeah,
just,
so like, long
you
story
know,
short, there's nothing that Sunny has missed.
yeah. I do want to say that I did watch Anita um, reluctantly on some certain person's channel. Um, but anyways, so I mean, my takeaway from her was that there was a lot of things I feel like she said that um, that I have said, that a lot of people have said, and then I think that there was a lot of things that were said that necessarily weren't very accurate either. When you like, meaning when there's actual facts and then there's your speculation side. So there was definitely things that she said that I think a lot of people have said in regards to this case. I only listened to her the one time, on there. I kept hearing her name. I'm like, who the F is this? And then I guess it was some friend of Cindy's or something like that at some point. But whatever, I'm just kind of like, if people can lead their own lives and babysit themselves and stuff like that, and what they say and what they do in their actions. At the end of the day, I just want to take responsibility for my own channel, my own say, what comes out of my mouth and stuff like that. And anyone else can do whatever they want with their own, you know. And if people want to cause drama and start drama and stuff like that, you know, I just, you know what, Charmaine, I remember that game back when I first was a channel. And that's why I really don't entertain, like, you know, like this fighting, all this constant fighting between channels, you know, and stuff like that. I mean, there's a couple times with you know, a couple people that you kind of like poke the bear at a little bit back because they're a douche. And but other than that, I just honestly, it doesn't interest me because it's like it's supposed to be about Jack and Lily. And you know, if people want to host their channels a certain way or do certain things, that's on them. You know, if they want to be slime and, you know, whatever, that's on them. I just want answers for Jack and Lily. And that's why, again, stepping back, it's just because I know that, yes, we can bring awareness, but the RCMP are the ones with the answers to whatever that truth lies or what you believe it is. At the end of the day, it's when the answers come out, then we'll know the truth about Jack and Lily, regardless of what the theory is that you believe it is.
Couldn't agree more. And no matter how hard you try to stay out of the drama, some people just want to try to drag you in, try to drag you under the bus by your ankles. But I mean, it is what it is.
I know.
I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And
Yep.
yeah, not a lick of it is going to help figure out what happened to Jack and Lily. Not even a syllable of it. So I guess the only thing, I think the best place to start here today is the search that just happened. We all know that Please Bring Me Home came back out on the 26th to do a search of the pipeline trails in the Lansdowne area. I would like to just watch this 8.5 minute video of Nick. And then from there, we'll just kind of go through the timeline and we'll get all the way up to Robin Camen's statement that he did. And we'll just, I guess, base our conversation on that if that's cool with everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let's watch this. I'm going to make it big, but I'm going to mute myself. I have to narrate what I'm doing, Sunny, so I don't forget to do anything.
Okay,
Chatters
okay.
are used to it, just telling you. So I'll mute myself and
I agree, Black.
Two children missing is just bizarre. So the plan today is there's 5 groups out there right now of search volunteers, family and friends of Jack and Lily, and people who've never met Jack and Lily. Signed up to do another search. This is our second one that we've completed. I should say the second public one. We've done multiple just Please Bring Me Home ones that were kept quiet over the last year. And everyone is walking down a number of these trail systems and side trail systems from the pipeline. Many of these trails were not searched, not as a result of GSAR failing to do their job, but just because they were clearing a lot of the more obvious areas, the waterways, following up on tips and leads. So we're just kind of filling in some more areas, especially at this time of year. It's really not far from the family home. I would say maybe 1.5 kilometers, a couple kilometers. And the evidence around here was that there were child-sized boot prints located down the pipeline trail. No real direct confirmation that it's the kids, but we also could not debunk it either. So it's really one of the last points that we believe they could have been.
What are folks looking for?
Anything at all that does not match the environment around it from a shape, color, and size perspective. It's anything that just looks like it doesn't belong. That's what they're looking at. Any child size, anything is evidence. This case is very unusual. We haven't seen it before where 2 children this age had gone missing together. We have cases where pairs have gone missing before in their adult life, but it's usually because of a boating accident or a crime that they've committed. Children this age don't normally wander and don't wander far if they do so. So I'm not saying it's impossible. There's just not another case that we can really compare it to. I just want people to know that RCMP are still focused on all the elements of it. Our role here is just focused on the misadventure and keeping our foot on that gas until a resolution's met.
You personally vetted the 40 odd volunteers who are here searching. Why did you do that?
This was the first search that Malaya was going to be a part of. And we do have a responsibility to the families, especially the mother of the missing children. And we wanted to make sure that we were doing everything we could to make sure that the people coming were coming for a genuine purpose and not to cause issues. We did have to ask a few people not to come because they were doing some online nonsense. And it just, we're advocating for the mother of these children, and we're advocating for these children. And I think the children would truly want their mother here. I've never had to vet people like this before on any other search. This case is a different animal of its own because everyone has an opinion, and it's hard to reason with those people who just are so strong in their beliefs for this case.
How's it going so far today?
So far, so good. I'm actually really impressed with all the searchers and how far they have made it so far. I don't think they're going to make it the full 5 miles, which is okay. It's really hard going in some of the sites. So a lot of water to work around, a lot of fallen trees to work around, and they're taking their time checking.
Just watch where you're walking, try to.
Yeah, I'm just seeing if there's any.
There could be more up here. I didn't want to disrupt the ground. It was 100% child price footprint. You can see the indents.
I mean, it's definitely a very small boot print. So, and it's on the opposite side of the pipeline from where the other boot prints were found. I immediately just kind of came out to the top of the pipeline where I could have signal. I texted that to the RCMP right away with the coordinates, and I just said we left it as is. So they'll likely, send someone out to check on it and whatever and see if it matches. I mean, the direction was coming from the woods out towards the pipeline and maybe about 20 to 25 meters in the woods. I'm not a boot print expert. I can tell you that it's certainly a full small boot print, and it's in an area where the children went missing from. So, if we just factor it down to that, then it's evidence that the police have to come and take a look at.
In your experience, is it possible for a boot print like that to be preserved as it was for this long?
Yeah, if you're not on like an open trail like this, if you got some tree cover, it'll survive through a winter like a boot print will. And if you think about it, if a boot print is on the ground, and then if it starts to freeze, it hardens, and you can see it do that. And then when the snow goes on top of it, it's going to stay frozen. So I've certainly seen, my tracks from summers prior in a wooded area search where you can tell where our tracks are. You can see your boot prints. So it looks well preserved anyhow. We had a human remains detection dog here as well today. The dog seemed interested in a couple items that were located. The way that the items were described to me, I don't think it'd be proper for me to say what they are because I don't know until I see them. I know that when we went up and down these logging trails, we found a lot of rags that were obviously rags that used to be clothing. And you could see there was like grease and hydraulic fluid on them, and it was likely just for the machinery. And I just wonder, before I say it's anything about a children's clothing, I want to make sure it's not just rags. So I just want to go and assess those sites really quickly, make sure I have the right coordinates, and then send the RCMP that information. And maybe it matches something that they know, but it'll be for them to decide how they follow up with that.
Ready? All right, got it.
What's great about these public searches is it creates opportunity for people who want to do this more to join. Last time we got 4 members of the public to join Please Bring Me Home officially and become searchers for Nova Scotia. And I think we got 4 more today. And if they go out every couple of weeks, we can just beat this area up for the search season, spring and summer. Ideally, people come every 2 weeks at minimum to do searches for these missing kids. You got to keep your foot on the gas with this. You can't let up at all when it's children missing. And I'm not suggesting RCMP has let up at all, but from a search perspective, you have to revisit areas that have been searched. You have to, especially in springtime. There have been times where we have located people that it has been previously cleared in the middle of the summer. If you don't go back in spring, I don't think it's fair to say it's been previously cleared. We searched and searched for this missing man in Ontario, and he was eventually found, and we walked by him when he was likely just in the water probably 13 times. And it takes continuous visits. You have to do it. I said this morning that we fail forward. So if we don't find them today, we're going to come back and we're going to continue searching until they're found. So even if you don't find them today, it is success because it's closing that gap. Every step you take, you're closing the gap where they could possibly be.
As you walked through those woods today, were Jack and Lily on your mind?
Jack and Lily are always on my mind. We're just devastated that there's still no answers after a year. Again, I can't really put it in words how hard this has been on myself and my family. I'll always have hope. We just, try and put one foot in front of the other each day and looking for answers.
2 children missing is just bizarre. Whether you're looking at wandering, misadventure, abduction, accidental death, if you're looking at those 4 scenarios, it's uncommon for 2 children to be together in either of those 4 situations. So it's uncommon. It's not impossible. It's really hard to wrap your head around. Now, if these children did get on a trail together, they're less likely to turn around and go back. They're more likely to continue going straight with what's in front of them. So it's just them getting on the trails or on the pipeline that I'm wrestling with personally about them making it there. How they get there, then that's the mystery.
So, Sunny, what I would like your thoughts on that search, and the things that Nick had to say, and then I'll ask Melissa because there are things leading up to the search that I don't know if you're aware of or not. So
Okay. Do
let's
you want to
just
say
hear your
those? You want to
thoughts
say those
first.
first, or
Well, just that
or
Belinda and Chelsea weren't allowed to search, and we heard Nick's reasons there, and I don't know that that is accurate. There's no real good reason in my mind that those 2 ladies shouldn't have been allowed to search. And you
yeah,
know,
that's not good.
yeah.
Um,
So what are your thoughts on the search?
well, a few things. Obviously, for any search that goes on for Jack and Lily, I'm all for when it comes to that. Uh, as for this, say the boot print, honestly, I think it has nothing to do with Jack and Lily. I can't imagine. People have to remember. I want to say about that the camera that was at the POA, that the one that DT was always talking about wasn't working. That came from what's his name? Uh, what's his name? Justin. Him, right? Okay, in a conversation with me. So that wasn't working. The one at the end of the road where that person had all the 5 cameras weren't working. So, or else if they were, trust me, then they would have seen Jack and Lily leave the property or a vehicle leave the property, get abducted. But that's kind of where I think a lot of to the standstill is with this case. It still is because I think that there's just the lack of proof of anything, right? There's no bodies that have been found. A remote area with the digital tracking is going to be there, but not there kind of thing. Most people, if you have a brain in your head, aren't going to be sitting there taking your cellular device with you. Because obviously that's how most criminals are caught nowadays. As for, well, I don't know, because as for the search in whole, I roll my eyes. The fact of Malaya being there, to me, that's just sorry, too late. Like a year later, and you want to show your face. Whatever, mother of 2 children missing. I'm sorry. I can't buy into or whatsoever. So that to me was just whatever, Malaya. I'm over you and this whole whatever act stuff you got going on. It's no way that I would ever represent my two children missing and then come up a year later. As for that, so that made me want to puke, to be honest with you. But just as for the searching in general, I don't believe that these children wandered off the property, two of them, into the woods, no car seen them as they were, strolling down the street, and that they just managed to evade all searches. It just seems so far unlikely and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I still believe that possibly the children might be out buried in the woods somewhere. And so any searching is good searching regardless. So regardless of how anybody feels about any of like the search teams or whatever, it's better than nothing. It's something.
And then I don't know if you're aware or not, but there was a group who went out to the area that was being searched about 2 weeks beforehand. Some of it was recorded and uploaded as a video to a YouTube channel. But I mean, the area and the date of the search was being kept from the public so that they wouldn't have as much interference, right? So it was basically treated as top secret, but yet a group of people, including Shan, Cindy, I think Cindy was there, maybe not, but Cheryl and Malaya, Damien, Johnny, and Brad Wong were out walking and marking the pipeline trail. They were allowed to search. They searched on the 26th, but it just nothing because of that situation, specifically that situation, nothing, if anything had been found, nothing would be usable as evidence, in my opinion, just based on the fact that a YouTuber was out there with a group of Malaya and, her friends and family, pre-marking the search area. So, I mean, I don't know what they were thinking, but that's just another aspect of what the stuff that
Oh,
was
okay.
leading up to this search. Yeah.
Yeah.
Melissa, what are your thoughts of the search, and if you have any questions for Sunny?
No, I don't have any questions for Sunny. As far as this boot print that they found, I said it backstage earlier. I call bullshit. I don't think that is from a year ago. I would be surprised if it was. Very surprised. And like you said, they were out there before marking this area, and it doesn't sit right with me that family and some random YouTuber are out there marking an area. If it would have been please bring me home, I could have understood it. But it just doesn't sit right with me. And like you said, if something had been found, who's to say it wasn't planted, 2 weeks prior or a week prior? I don't know. I'm just so frustrated with this case today, because here we are a year later and we still basically have the same answers that we had a weekend. And I don't understand how we are no further along. And I get we don't have everything the RCMP does, but I feel like there should be more that we can do, or something that we're missing to connect the dots to find these babies, because they did not vanish into thin air. They didn't get beamed up into a spaceship. And why is it consistently one boot print? Where is this? Do we have a one-legged child out here that's just hopping through the woods? I mean, I don't mean to sound insensitive, but why is it constantly one boot print? Kids have 2 feet, and there's 2 kids. That means there's 4 feet. So there should be 4 boot prints, not one. Where's the other 3? If this is legit Jack and Lily, where are the other boot prints?
Yeah, and how did they get there? Because there's no prints between the property and where these prints are being found. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me at all. Yeah, and yeah. So, and I mean, the other drama and stuff with the slumber party and shit, like that stuff that I can take offline with Sunny. We don't need to sit here and talk about that crap. But at the end of the day, it's good. Any searching is good searching, but I know that the Please Bring Me Home search is much more publicized. But there are people that do go out and search regularly, like almost daily. Um, and quite honestly, how many times are you gonna beat this specific area? I have to go deal with Harley. Please take over.
So I want to reply to yes, ma'am, here. You said the kids could have gotten separated from each other. You're right, they could have. But one kid still has 2 feet. Sonny, what do you think about it constantly being one boot print?
I know, right? It's like a hop along. Um, I just don't actually believe in any of these footprints having anything to do with Jack and Lily. But yeah, it's like a one-legged kid all the time or something like that. But yeah, I'm just, like I said, I put my thoughts into every freaking angle myself possible that you could, think of. Like I think a lot of people have, and so the boot prints to me have nothing to do with Jack and Lily at all. I don't believe either of them, and I don't believe that they wandered off into the woods. It just, I'm past the point of entertaining some of this stuff until something can show differently, until the RCMP can, say one way or the other, because it's just so unlikely. The reason why it's at a standstill to me is because of the lack of proof. It boils down to the lack of proof. No bodies. You got to connect something happening to the children, what happened to the children, who, and all that stuff in order to have a case. And I just don't think that it's there. I think that they know, but I don't think it's there. And I don't know when it will be solved. It might never be solved for all we know. I would like not to think that, but as for the boot print thing, yeah, I'm just not into it. It's just, I watched this and saw the people and stuff like that searching, and, great on those people that actually, take the time out of their lives to come help search for Jack and Lily and stuff like that, because maybe there's something somewhere, a piece of what they were wearing out in the woods somewhere, but it's not because I think that they're alive. But just hoping and praying that the answers come for Jack and Lily regardless. Anyway, hi Shar, welcome back.
Yeah, that's all we can do is, and like I said, any searching is good searching because you never know. The fact is, we don't know of any hard evidence, that the kids were ever in the woods, so there's no harm in trying to find some, right? It's pretty clear to me that the RCMP and major crimes aren't about to debunk or set us straight. So we just have to go with it as responsibly as we possibly can. So this video here that I've got pulled up, it is from CBC, and there's a little bit more to this one. It's not just Nick. Once we get to the Nick part, I'm going to stop it and we'll talk about it, so we don't need to hear about, we don't need to hear it again. But I haven't seen this one yet, but I did notice Nick, that the same interview we just watched is towards the end, middle-ish, whatever. But we're gonna watch this and we'll talk about it as well before we get to Rob's statement, I guess, whatever. All right.
We'll see the index.
It's a strange place to find a small boot print, but everything about this case is strange. It's extremely rare in Canada for two siblings to go missing, and yet, 1 year ago, Lily and Jack Sullivan seemingly vanished. Now, volunteers are taking to the woods once again, searching for clues.
We're just devastated that there's still no answers after a year. I can't really put it in words how hard this has been on myself and my family.
On May 2nd, 2025, Lily, then 6, and Jack, then 4, disappeared. Their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, and the children's stepfather, Daniel Martell, both say they heard the kids that morning inside their Lansdowne home. When the house went silent, Brooks Murray ran outside and called 911. RCMP and hundreds of search and rescue volunteers descended upon the property, spending days scouring the woods.
I searched all their play areas where they would play, like around the yard when I'm there. They have a little cabin that we made. Search that. That's when I jumped in the car, did all the areas around all the dirt roads.
The mysterious nature of the case has drawn international attention, the public and the family eager for answers and pointing fingers. There is little evidence apart from a piece of Lily's blanket found in a tree and a cluster of boot prints found on a trail near the family home. The lack of answers is what has brought searchers back to Lansdowne, including Brooks Murray. The children's mother has stayed mostly silent over the past year amid harsh criticism from online sleuths. But she decided to partake in this latest public search to show her support and appreciation. This small boot print was discovered near where the boot print cluster was found, and RCMP are reviewing it. Volunteers have vowed to keep searching these woods.
2 children missing is just bizarre. Whether you're looking at wandering, misadventure.
Yeah, I don't want to listen to that again. And something I forgot to mention about the last video, but it's here again too. But there we have Cindy again, showing her hands. Very, very, very nice manicure. Good, good, good show there. But what are your thoughts on that?
I'm just, for me, I'm just over it all when it comes to that. Again, I think, you know, that as a paternal grandmother, as a grandmother, like why aren't you showing your face? Do you know what? I don't get that. So it's like usually when people do stuff like that, it's like, well, what do you got to hide? What is it that you don't, I don't get that at all. It honestly, it's reminding me of Sebastian Rogers with Katie Proudfoot when they showed the hands on the interview on there. But anyways, for me personally, disgusting. I'm so sorry. Keep talking all you want and stuff like that, Cindy. But you guys really have done nothing really for the case. You guys start speaking out now and whatever. But at the end of the day, again, it becomes about Jack and Lily and answers. Again, you would never see me sitting there showing my hands. I'd be showing my face, speaking for Jack and Lily. And I just don't get that. I don't care. I don't, you know what? Sit there and tell me whatever camera shy issues you got. I'm sorry. I just don't buy that crap, right? You're fighting for justice for your grandchildren. Everyone knows what your face looks like. Why not just be there, out there speaking for Jack and Lily properly instead of this bullshit hand thing? That's my thoughts. That's all.
But people are saying because of her job, and I mean, I thought that at first too. But we all know what she looks like, and
I
she's
got
willing to
something
come
on that.
name. Yeah, you go ahead, Melissa.
So let me ask you this. For anybody that wants to say, oh, her job, right there is her hands. Right there is her name. That she's Jack and Lily's grandmother. Well, 2 + 2. That would be just as much a violation as showing her effing face and saying something. Now, this is twice they've put on there Cindy Murray, Jack and Lily's grandmother. And it shows her hands and her talking, her voice. That is going to violate her no media policy with her job just as much as her face would. And it would be more understandable to show her face, since we all know what it looks like, than to show the insensitivity of just her hands. Now, I go back to this morning. You couldn't even stand off camera and say something with or without a mic, but you can talk to a mainstream media news crew that's going to put your name and all that out there and show your hands on camera, but not say something off camera or even without a mic of just please look for Jack and Lily. Help find Jack and Lily. It's been a year. We're still looking for Jack and Lily.
Not hard, is
Something,
it?
anything? Really? So how does this not violate the media policy for her job, but her face would? There's no difference. Not in my mind.
Nope.
And Root says there is no such media policy. I can 100% confirm that. Well, Root, whether or not there is or isn't is kind of irrelevant because she's on the news anyway with her name. So, and I'm sorry, a job that is going to tell me I can't look for my missing grandkids that have been missing for a year,
You know,
can
that's
suck
yeah.
it. I've got to figure out a YouTube nice way to say that. But
Yeah.
can fire me because I'm going to look for my grandkids.
Come on, she's an RN, and there's no policy that she can't put out her face at all to sit there and say, we're still looking for Jack and Lily. We just want answers. Again, you see these people all day long with jobs that have missing children in so many cases, and yet they put their faces. I can't make excuses for BS.
I agree with you 100%. There is no reason that she cannot just freaking fight for your grandkids. And I just got to say, she sounds an awful lot like her daughter. No wonder apple don't fall far from the tree.
I was gonna, yeah.
You mean the voice? What do you mean? What do you mean?
I get what she means.
Yeah, if you listen to her voice and then and keep in mind Malaya's interview that she did, and you listen to Cindy's voice, man, they sound an awful lot alike. But like I said, that apple doesn't far fall from that tree. Would she look for Malaya if it was Malaya missing?
Would she put her face on the camera?
Would she look for her own kid? Because she sure doesn't give a crap enough about her grandkids to do it.
I don't think she would. Like, I think this is just the way these people are, and that doesn't make them guilty or innocent of anything. But like, holy Hannah, like I said, if you're, I'm guessing in your 40s, and we've heard her speak on Tint's video. She does seem to be a confident, well-established woman in her profession. If your child is traumatized and she can't speak for herself or her missing kids, then because you do what you have to protect your kids, to
Absolutely.
protect your grandkids. You just do. Your instinct should kick in and say, okay, if you can't do it, I'll do it for you. That's what parents do, in my opinion.
You know what? That's just the normal thing. Parent, grandparent, like in Cindy's case here, Malaya's case, those are just typical things that just come naturally, that you would be sitting there. You wouldn't be caring about what other people think or this or that. You would literally just want to ask people for help, come out, and be a voice this whole time. It's for the fact that this is all happening now, like all this time later, and all of a sudden Malaya's showing her face and stuff like that, and Cindy's speaking up a bunch, some more and stuff like that. For me, in my head, just watching it all play out is the most absurd crap to watch when it comes to two missing children. And right, when you're in it for the truth and the sincerity of it, you would think that you would want to feel that, and that's not really what I've felt at all. That my heart is for Belinda Gray, and when she speaks and then she tears up, and you feel like your heart is ripping out just listening to her, that's the difference here from what I'm seeing between one side to the other on this one.
Yeah, I mean, you can feel it when Belinda speaks. You can feel it when Cindy has spoken. It's like
hollow.
She's talking about the dog down the street that's not come home. I mean, there's no, in my opinion, no feeling behind it. And it just frustrates the crap out of me that you have one grandparent who, by her own admission, had been cut out of the kids' life, but is doing everything she can to keep their face out there, to keep their names out there. If you follow her on Facebook, you know that every memory she does, it's Jack and Lily. Every single one. 6 years ago, it's her, but today it's Jack and Lily. But yet, when it comes to the other side, they can't even bother to say, please continue looking, or thank you, or anything, really. And you don't feel the emotion that you feel when Belinda speaks. And this was the grandparent that, according to Daniel, spoke to Malaya multiple times a day, thus, most likely spoke to the kids several times a week, and can't be bothered, in my opinion, again, to, come out and say, please search, or if you know anything, say something, or if you've seen something, say something, or thank you, or anything. It frustrates the crap out of me.
Lay couldn't even read her own darn letter that she supposedly wrote. Stuff like that. It just all adds up to me too. You know what? At the end of the day, it's the perception that they're putting out to the world, and how we view it is our right to view it any way that we want to. And I just view it as it's just from the beginning of this, from their side, like meaning Malaya's, Cindy's side, and stuff like that. I just view it as that they've painted the picture of not talking, not going to vigils, or maybe obviously Cindy a little bit more, but than Malaya, but all that stuff. And it's just, again, you're painting a picture of yourself, and it's a picture that I find pretty much disgusting. For what I would do if I was in the shoes of two missing children. And I just can't. It's like I can't believe what I'm actually watching. It's one of those feelings,
Yeah,
kind of like the
it's
vigil today.
exactly like I completely agree with you, Sonny. It's like it's unbelievable to the point where people wonder why this case is like we were talking like with Daniel, like it's like a reality TV show. We people are free to run with their own narratives. Well, I wonder why. It's because this is one step down from animation when it comes to Malaya's side of the family. It's so unbelievable and so disingenuous. It's just that
Mm,
it makes no sense to have nobody want to put their faces and their words out there for Jacqueline. And like I said, if we truly believe that these children are out there safe and sound, being cared for or hidden or whatever, you don't think for a second they would want to hear their mother's voice or see her face looking for them, or their grandmother? Like, do we truly believe that they're out there somewhere if we're not begging the public for help to look out for Jack and Lily, to post missing persons? Don't tell me you have hope that they're alive, because everything that you're doing tells
yeah,
me that you think it's hopeless,
yeah.
or you know exactly what's what, honestly.
Mhm. I think, yeah, I feel like, and this is just my thing. I just feel like that. Say Cheryl, Christine, and Angeline. I feel like that there are a couple of people that are in Malaya's life that are truly trying to be helpful, assisting what they believe is a friend. But in my personal opinion, I just think that that they're trying. Like, for me personally, watching it, I just feel like there's two people that are trying to, like I said, care about Malaya and all this stuff. But I think that Malaya has a lot of secrets, and there's a lot of stuff, including what's going on with Jack and Lily, and the truth is still hidden. From, like, I just feel like it's kind of like trying to believe in somebody, and you're trying to, like, I've known you for a long time, Malaya, and da 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 type of thing. But I just feel like even they're getting a bit bamboozled by what truly happened with Jack and Lily. I don't believe Malaya is innocent in all this at all myself, but that's how
But
I
how
feel.
do you continue to help somebody who isn't willing to help themselves, right? How do you continue to help Malaya look for her kids and search for Jack and Lily when she herself has barely done so. And I can't say she hasn't done it at all because I don't know what she's done behind the scenes. And I know she has been out a couple times. But I mean, we didn't even hear from Cheryl or Christine or whatever her name is, the friend today. Today would have been, if you really are trying to protect her and insulate her and all of that from everything that's going on, at least woman up. I would say man up, but woman up and say something. Say, hey, she's really struggling. She just wants everybody to know she's thankful, wants everybody to keep searching. But again, how many times can you do that when she herself or her family on that side won't do the same? And I mean, it's about Jack and Lily. Put your BS whatever to the side. And I'm not saying she's wrong, or like that she did something, but look for your kids because you don't look for something that's not lost. And I just keep coming back to that when it comes to her because she's not looking for one of two reasons. She knows where they're at, or she knows what happened, or she knows they're not coming home.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple.
I honestly feel like Cheryl and Angeline care more about finding Jack and Lily than the mother of these two children, Malaya. That's how sorry, but that's what's been portrayed.
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more, but they do seem to want to put a stop to free and open conversation about the case. So basically, unless you're bashing Daniel, they don't want anybody talking about Jack and Lily. So that's the read I get from it, from personal experience, which is, it's sad. It's ridiculous. And like I said, when I was going on my rant the other day, I have every right to ask all these questions, as does Sunny and
absolutely.
Melissa and Justin and Daphne and whoever. We
Yep.
have every right to ask any question we want. That doesn't mean they need to answer us. They can click off if they don't want to hear it. But these are questions that are legitimate, and I am surprised if Major Crimes or RCMP don't have the same fucking questions in their brains, because it's odd. It's odd behavior.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Charmaine, with any case out there that, and again, I mean, this particular case falls into like not about two missing children typically, but meaning it falls into the case that a lot of things happen and instantly, again, the parents are looked at right away. So meaning that a lot of these cases are the police and that have gone to homes or dilapidated homes, drugs, violence, whatever's going on in the homes. This case kind of falls within that same, same realm of a ton of cases. And for anyone not to be able to question this or ask questions or have an opinion about any of these cases, we have every right to, right? The only thing that we don't have a right to do is to sit there and say, something like, Daniel, I know that you did this to these kids 100%. You did this, you emmed these children and stuff like that. But you can sit there and think, okay, well, Daniel said this and he's not, obviously he's contradicted himself from over here. You have a right to question anything to be with the cases, especially the people that are talking, or the inconsistencies in a case. I mean, what cases that are out there aren't like, especially high profile ones? They're all pretty much go the same way. It's just that this happens to be two children, and in Canada. But in the States, these cases, just like this, one child all day long. And typically, in almost every single one of those cases, most of them, it's going to be a parent, a family member, someone close to the children. And I don't think that this case differs myself at all in this. Everything that we're seeing, um, like with nobody coming forward, no reward collected, nobody's said, a year later that somehow these children are what, in a dungeon somewhere being protected. It's just all too much. It's gonna come down to me to the typical thing, unfortunately, that happens in a lot of these cases when there's, like I said, money pressures, drugs going on, relationships, that are, gone south and whatever. And it's just, and we see it actually all the time, but it's just with two children. It even actually makes it more to the fact of family or someone that knows them involvement.
So let me ask you both this. You're both parents, just as I am. Can you tell when your child's lying to you?
Yes,
Most times.
I sure
Most
can.
times.
So, as a parent, I could always tell when my kids were lying. Generally, because my oldest one would just tell on himself in the midst of it, because that boy can't lie to save his life. But if Cindy really has a good relationship with Malaya and really has talked with Malaya about this, and I'm not saying Malaya did anything, but she would, I would hope, like any parent, be able to tell whether or not Malaya is lying about what happened. So even in that case, say Malaya is absolutely lying to her, she knows Malaya's lying to her, that would be more encouragement for me to come out and say, where are these kids? Help me find the kids. And for her not to do so, again, I feel like a broken record, but it just frustrates me because if you know she's lying, then you need to speak up. If you don't know she's lying and you really don't know, then why aren't you begging for the kids' safe return? I mean, heck, even Janie said, I don't really care for her, but even Janie said, drop them off where you picked them up. Drop them off at night. No questions asked. We'll hear them. We'll come get them. Let us know where they are. We'll come get them. Janie is begging for the kids' return and for them to be found more than their biological family. And she's just a step grandparent. And I hate that word, step, but I mean, come on, there is no excuse in my book, zero excuse why Malaya and her family or her friends or somebody on her behalf, I don't care if it's a lawyer, a PR person, somebody is not begging for the safe return of the kids and or for people to keep looking for them. I just don't get it.
Well, she never did it in her first interview, did she? Which, Charmaine's hiding herself behind a message. I was like, where'd Charmaine go?
No, I
She's
wanted to read this one because, so in the Code of Ethics in Nova Scotia for LPNs, there are social identity discouragements. Seeing that, it is clearly up to her to abide by her professional code of ethics, in my opinion. I agree. It is definitely up to her to decide on her priorities, and I would venture to guess that her job would not be on the line if her social identity becomes more public, maybe due to her missing grandkids, and I will die on that mountain. I can't see any
I'll die with you.
organization firing somebody for pleading for information about their missing grandkids.
Right. In fact, they would be supporting.
Absolutely. They would probably help fund some signage, some posters, something. So, I mean, it's all
probably
just
donate gloves
excuses to
for the
me.
search.
Yeah. And then the other thing people are asking about, like, I don't remember if I told Sunny about the cease and desist or not. I might have mentioned it in passing, but she doesn't know all the details, nor does she need to. That's how important it is to me, clearly. But I mean, if she wants to know, I'll fill her in offline. But I don't want to talk about it here and now. That's
Yeah.
got way too much of my energy as it is already. Um, And then this article here. Sunny, did you know that some of these articles have AI readers now and they're getting pretty good now, pretty good. So now we don't have to remember when we used to have to like take turns reading articles because there's so much. We don't have to do that anymore. We can literally sit here and listen
Yeah.
to a computer read it for us.
Yep.
Are you guys good for me to start this right now?
Sure.
Okay.
Who's this article from?
This article is Globe and Mail, and I will put it in the chat, but for some reason I'm not hearing it. I don't know what's going on. Did you guys hear it when I was playing it?
No.
No, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work. God, gosh darn it, dang it. I'm gonna try it again. I
Okay.
wonder if I have to unshare it.
Nice to see you guys too. Thanks, Leanne.
There, so I will try this again and I'll put the link in the chat. Let me know right away if you can't hear it though, because I don't know what the fuck. Okay. It hasn't started yet. I hit the play button, it won't start. So what the heck? Still nothing. What's going on? Why won't it load?
Can't answer that.
Oh, for Pete's sake. I really don't want to have to read it. Because I've got another article I think I'm gonna have to read, so I don't want to have to read this one. What the heck, man? Anybody got any ideas? Chatters? Any ideas?
Do you want to send it to me and I'll try to play? Oh wait, I can't. I don't think I can. Right?
You can still share stuff and then I have to pull it
Yeah,
up or
but
whatever. I don't know, but I think it could be my internet actually. So I'll send it as well to Melissa. So my internet when I'm pasting stuff seems to be lagging a little bit, so it could just be my connection. Let's hope. And then here's for the chatters. Here is the link. There you go. Doesn't matter whoever wants to put it up. I'm gonna take this completely out.
Melissa, can you? Let's see if I can.
I'm on it.
Thank you. It's coming from X, eh?
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm not on it.
Yeah, that's an X post.
Yeah, I paid for the membership for crying out loud.
Oh, hold on. Let's see. Oh, wait. Let's see.
So I can't because I'm not on the subscription. So it'll have to be Sunny who does it.
I got it to work here.
Oh, did you?
I had to refresh. What am I doing? I almost removed you, Melissa. My bad. This is hard, Sunny. Like you did this for 5 years. Like this is bullshit. Trying to keep everything unmuted and all the stuff that you have to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
About missing Sullivan children in rally outside RCMP detachment. This is an article from the Canadian Press and read to you by an AI-generated voice. Under a cloudless sky in central Nova Scotia, about 50 people gathered outside an RCMP detachment Saturday to demand answers about the disappearance of 2 young children exactly 1 year ago. On the morning of May 2nd, 2025,
RCMP were told 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack had wandered from their home in rural Lansdowne Station, about 140 kilometers north of Halifax. Since then, few clues have emerged about their whereabouts, though a senior RCMP officer said this week there was only a slim chance that the children are still alive. As well, Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon said there was no evidence to suggest the siblings had been abducted or that any kind of criminal behavior was involved. Still, he said all scenarios are being investigated. At the Rally for Justice outside the detachment in Stellarton, Nova Scotia, Jack and Lily's paternal grandmother, Belinda Gray, said the event Saturday marked 1 year of getting no answers from the RCMP. 1 year, and there's still so many questions, she said in an interview before the rally. I want people to start demanding more answers, demanding more openness from our law enforcement. Nobody's asking to jeopardize the investigation. Gray said the stress caused by the lack of outward progress in the case has been somewhat offset by the outpouring of support from across the country and around the world. I am so grateful and thankful that the world has fallen in love with Lily and Jack, and I don't have words to express that gratitude, Gray said. Some of those attending the rally carried placards with photos of both children flanked by plain-spoken slogans, including "Enough Waiting," 365 Days of Silence, and "Justice for Jack and Lily." At one point, almost everyone taking part in the rally lined the main street in Stellarton and chanted, "We want answers, we want justice." Rally organizer Kent Corbett said the RCMP must be more forthcoming with what they know. "We'd rather have a little bit more communication," he told reporters. "We don't need the details of the case, but it just seems that we don't have a direction, so we're out there conjuring our own thoughts and voicing our own thoughts." Corbett said investigators should tell the public what scenarios have already been ruled out. "We want answers, we need answers, and that's what we're here for today." RCMP. Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon told the crowd that the police force is doing everything it can to find the children, adding that Mounties from across Canada are working on the case. Seeing so many people here gathered at the Stellarton detachment is a powerful reminder of how much Lily and Jack matter, the uniformed officer said. They haven't been forgotten, and the concern and compassion shown by Pictou County and beyond continues to be felt. McKinnon said investigators are keen to receive fact-based tips from the public, a message McCammon delivered during a news conference Friday at the RCMP's provincial headquarters in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. So far, the RCMP have received more than 1,100 tips from the public, but McCammon made a point of explaining that many of those tips have been based on speculation from social media. McCammon, the officer in charge of the Major Crime Unit in Nova Scotia, said the information needed isn't speculation or thoughts or theories. As well, McCammon confirmed there are parts of the investigation that he can't talk about in public because doing so could compromise operational security.
Yeah, she says RCMP the same way I say RCMP. Anyway, so that was kind of a meh. Good. I mean, I'm glad I paid the subscription fee for that one too, I guess. Interesting. Any thoughts on those guys?
Well, I mean, the press conference stuff that he said, like I said, any awareness to bring out to the public for Jack and Lily, vigil, news articles, coverage of social media, for Jack and Lily. It all matters that way for, just to always keep it in the limelight. But like I said, the press conference, I mean, honestly, Charmaine, that was like listening to a waste of my time. There was nothing. It was just to me a big nothing burger. it was just our same typical answers. Every time someone asked a question, he would just go back to the same generic answers. You know, it's like there was more said before, you know, but I do feel like they got the picture painted. Even though he went when Lindsay Jones from Globe and Mail asked him that, you know, I was expecting actually a better answer, um, but it's always the same thing. We're looking at all angles. We want the, you know, now they're trying to say like we just want the fact information when they asked about facts because they kind of referred to obviously most things to do with the conference there, and it was just it was even if they did know, they like I said, they're just going to say the same answers. Oh, you know, so I know that they know a lot more, but we're just going to hear the same answers to the public. And so those things now at this point, it's just like it's like a recording. Wah, 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 wah. Thanks for
Yeah,
nothing burger
Charlie
update.
Brown's teacher. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And the more I think about it, the less I want to play his statement. It was just so full of the same stuff that we've heard for, well, you can't really say for, well, I guess for a year, but almost a year since they started doing their generic updates. I feel like after the search was scaled back on day 6, after that point, the only updates we've received are cookie cutter, canned, just basic stuff. And that's what we heard from Rob the other day. But there is this article that does have maybe a little bit of new information, and because there's no AI reader on the National Post, I will bless you all with my oh so dramatic voice and read through it. I won't I won't force my guests to read it,
Oh,
but
sheesh.
it is what it is. Unless you want to, Sunny. Do you want to? People are missing your voice. Do you want to read it? You can.
I'll start off and then, you know, and then after that, you know, you take over or whatever if you want. It's up to you.
Yeah, sure. Can you see it? I
Okay.
don't know what is with
Yeah.
all these fucking little ads and shit. So hopefully you can see
Yeah.
it.
It's
But
all part of it. Yeah. Okay. So it says Mounties are still investigating the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan a year after the children went missing from their home in northeastern Nova Scotia. Lily, 6, and her 4-year-old brother, Jack, well, it's now 5. And well, actually, is Lily. Lily's birthday went by. Did she turn 7?
yeah,
Yeah, she turned
yeah.
7 and Jack's 5. Yeah. Were first reported missing from their home on Garlock Road in Lansdowne Station at 10:01 a.m. on May 2nd, 2025 by their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray. She told police she believed the children had wandered away from their home. That sparked one of the largest searches the province has ever seen, but it has been proved fruitless. We appreciate people's concerns and engagement. Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon, the officer in charge of the Major Crime and Behavioral Sciences, said Thursday in a news release. At this stage of the investigation, what investigators need are specific, verifiable details to work from. Rumor and speculations won't lead us to Jack and Lily. RCMP units from across Canada, as well as the National Center for Missing Persons and the Canadian Center for Child Protection, are helping the investigation, said the release. The investigation has involved sustained and wide-ranging efforts over the past year, McCammon said. Substantial RCMP and partner agencies' resources continue to be dedicated to this file, and they'll remain in place until the circumstances surrounding Lily and Jack's disappearance are determined with certainty. I'll read up to the end of that part and then go ahead, Charmaine. Judges have given investigators permission to comb through the materials and digital devices of those closest to the children, including their phone, banking records, said the release. They've interviewed 106 people in the case and given several of them lie detector tests.
Thank you. The probe has also involved conducting forensic examinations at the Ottawa-based RCMP National Forensics Laboratory, said the release. Mounties have reviewed 8,132 video files, and searchers have gone through about 40 kilometers of territory in the Lansdowne area using cadaver dogs. They fielded 1,191 tips in the case and worked through 1,534 investigative tasks in the case. All possible scenarios remain under consideration, said the release. And I wonder, are there any of the narratives online impossible to the RCMP? I mean, they could clarify that for me. A significant and sustained investigative effort is ongoing. Our investigators, alongside partner agencies, have conducted and continue to conduct hundreds of follow-ups. McCammon said, every credible lead is being actively pursued and every available resource is being applied. Police want anyone with fact-based information related to Lilly and Jack Sullivan's disappearance to contact the Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit at 902-896-5060 or online. To remain anonymous, contact the Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers toll-free. So this was supposed to be the one. There is an article out there somewhere that says that the RCMP had a application approved to conduct more digital forensic investigations. Do you guys remember seeing that anywhere?
No. Is that in the Globe and Mail one, perhaps?
No, I can't remember which one it was. I would have to go searching for it, but it definitely was in print over the last 24 hours.
Okay. Um, I don't want to say one thing, but to think that the RCMP don't know more than what we obviously do, to me, is just ridiculous. RCMP have all the stuff, like, meaning that they're the ones that are capable of soliciting all the what's it called, Charmaine, when a warrant, for the devices and stuff like that, right? What we know of that RCMP, no matter what, know so much more with regards to timelines, what was on the devices, all that stuff. So it just goes without saying, there's not one case out there where the RCMP or the LE would not know more than us public do. Now, in the sense of, do we feel if the RCMP really don't know, if somebody did this or that and stuff like that? I don't think that they're at that place myself. I don't feel like, I feel like they have a good idea, but are still looking for the proof, because they have so much more data to look at than what we could ever imagine to kind of give a better idea of Daniel Malaya's life, things that happened in their, history up until the leading of Jack and that. Whereas we just get bits and pieces of stuff and we don't know if it's accurate or true, whereas they actually would have that information. I don't think that they're clueless on this one. Do you guys
Yeah, I
think so?
don't either. No,
I don't
I
think
really don't. Melissa, what are your thoughts? And then I'm gonna go through chat. I see there's quite a number of questions. I mean, mostly directed, I think, at Sunny, but that's fine. That's good. That's
I don't
good. We
think
need
so.
to encourage Sunny to get back online so that Charmaine has shit that she can watch, because I don't watch anything else. But anyways, so Melissa, what are your thoughts?
I really don't have that many because I still feel like we're getting the same answers that we've gotten before. Maybe the numbers have changed. Maybe some wording has changed where it says, any possible. That's what stuck out to me, and that was possible. But it's kind of the same thing they've been saying. And that's hard for me being in the US, not having the access to the information that you guys don't get. So it's hard for me to sit here and go, well, why aren't they telling us more? And then I have to remember you guys don't do that there. But I feel like they're giving us, like you said, the same cookie cutter responses that they've been given.
Yep. At least they held a press conference. We'll give them that.
Yeah, anything is better than nothing, right? Like I struggle every time I do a live stream to have something to talk about that's not just rehashing the old shit, right? So I lean on chat a lot just to talk about the things that they want to talk about. But today, everybody just wants to say it's really good to see you, Sunny. Um,
I see you.
RCMP has given up in terms of searches. What does that say? And yeah, Rob did say that they don't have any plans to do any further searching of the area themselves, and I think that would also mean ground search and rescue as well. So now we're completely reliant on the citizens to go out and do private searches and please bring me home. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that that's,
Normal.
tells a story, kind of?
Nope. Normal. It's normal for any case. Search for about a week, put all your resources, pull it back because it's so much resources going out. There's other cases out there too. But this is normal. Happened in Sebastian Rogers' case, happens in a lot of cases. And then usually the families a lot of times will continue searching on. But they're only going to go back is if there's some information that really leads them somewhere to go check out, a spot or a place and stuff like that. So to me, this is absolutely the typical.
What about for like the US, Melissa? Is this kind of normal stuff for the United States as well?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, as far as, we get cookie cutter responses too, but we have more freedom of information here. So
But the searches are the same, Melissa, though. For many of the United States cases we follow, they last about a week and then start pulling back after a week.
Give or take, yeah. I mean, and most of that is based off statistics. I mean, it just really is. So,
yeah.
Fair. It's sad to see, but to me, I mean, it tells me that they don't believe the children are in the woods. I mean, that's what that tells me. They just don't believe they're in the woods, either alive or otherwise. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, well, like I said, just I can't help but have the deja vu with Sebastian Rogers. A week after they pulled back and stuff like that, and yeah, I feel like they felt like they did everything in that area, used a lot of resources and stuff like that, and they just didn't feel like that these children probably wandered off in the woods, in a sense. And I feel like that, like any good, I guess, logical thinking that you spend that type of money on time and the drones, the dogs, and all that stuff, and then can't find nothing, then and you search within a perimeter of what children could have possibly walked, right, at their ages. And yeah, so I just feel like they didn't feel like they were in the woods at all. Took them quite a bit, or at least a good week to figure that out, but they were so.
I agree. I don't think that they think they're in the woods. I think they've pretty much said that more than once without saying it. So
I think they did say it actually at one of the conferences.
Yeah.
This next one is directed at you, Sunny. Don't you think a still shot from the last proof of life video might jog memories? Why bury it? Why keep it from public? I think is the.
Well, have we ever? I don't know. Like the last still shot of proof of life. We ever seen?
Yeah, Dollarama, whatever.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The last proof of life. Yeah. I'm so sorry. What was the question? You said Dollarama, but I know that was the last proof of life. But I think it was, what was the question? Still shot of what?
Just, if a still shot from that proof of life video might jog memories from anybody else in the parking lot. But I mean, then what?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I just think that in all cases, or a lot of cases, and like this one as well, I just always think that when it comes to cases, um, the public's help is what you need, um, for sure. And I think that they really, I always just feel like there's a lot more information they could give, but they act like it's all close to the vest stuff. And I always just feel like that I don't know why, but it always reminds me a bit of an ego thing, that they think that they're the only ones, like, they're going to get the information and solve it. But I really don't think that they give the public enough credit for what can be said. Or, I just think, you see what I'm saying? I just feel like in a lot of cases we watch, there's stuff here like, why can't you just tell us? Like, it's not going to be detrimental, to the case, but yet they act like it is. And I always see that in a lot of cases, and I'm just like, they should utilize the public more, um, because all they did in that press conference, like, the clear message there. Whoops, sorry. The clear message there was basically, quit sending us in these useless tips. What we want is someone who actually knows what happened to the kids, has information that's vital to the kids. So, meaning anyone that's in the know and now. And that's all we want out there from the public. That's what we want. That's what's going to solve this case, is from somebody who's actually in the know and the now of Jack and Lilly, that can offer any of actual tips that will lead to what happened to them. And all the other stuff, they're like, yeah, we got this part. We just need that from you guys. And that's really, I think, what they need anyway. They need literally someone to throw someone underneath the bus, that has the information of Jack and Lilly. And that's really all they're looking for, is someone with actual information towards where Jack and Lilly are. And that would be the people in the know and the now.
Right, and I feel like that's why it's so important to try to be as neutral as possible, to have open conversations and dialogue with everybody that could possibly know what happened, or might have information that they don't even realize is important. Like, you never know what can come out of a conversation. Um, we human minds are fascinating to me. They have the ability to filter through information that we think is important. And, like, for me, the biggest wake up call for me was actually speaking with Major Crimes, and I had decided myself that I had absolutely nothing of interest to them. But then talking to him, I was like, wait a minute, like, I
Maybe I do.
really don't know what you
Yeah.
need. I really don't know what I have. So you're welcome to it all, you know? Who am I to decide what they need to hear and what they don't need to hear? Um, the the thing that I took, like, even there was a story that came, like a rumor, whatever, came out directly
Okay.
after his interview, and everybody was like, oh, that's just rumors, you don't have to report it. And I'm like, well, wait a second, that particular rumor would be easy for them to corroborate or disprove. So for me, depending on the information or rumor or whatever, it needs to go to, like, not just shit you make up in your head because you heard something. But if you have a story told to you that would be easily verifiable by the RCMP or the investigators, just because you don't have facts to back it up, I don't think that's what he was saying. I think that he was just saying, don't make shit up and then call it in and say, what if this happened? What if that happened? I think they still want to hear about stuff, but it needs to be stuff that they can verify. They're not asking us to get the tips and the facts for them. They're asking us to give them information that they could investigate. Because a lot of the shit we come up with, how are they supposed to run it down? You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. That's what I think. I,
I
I
feel
would
like
hate to shut tips down for.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, I would, well, honestly, it's just like, when he was talking about social media, I felt like all he needed to add to that was an eye roll, to be honest, because, and we know, Charmaine, and a lot of you guys know, there's a ton of Fruit Loops out there. Okay, there's a lot of nonsensical people out there, like even with the Delphi case, right? I mean, if someone was wearing a blue jacket, like, and they get just over inundated with, this card reader, you got to watch his card readers thing and stuff like that. And they don't care about shit like that. They just don't. But I can only imagine the flow of tips that are just pointless and irrelevant and just ridiculous versus actual tips, of, knowledge of, I see, like, someone calling in a tip saying, yeah, I seen Daniel and Malaya say at that dollar store that day, da 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 da. I didn't notice, you know what I mean? People giving information and tips like that, that kind of have knowledge of really the the situation, like Malaya's and Daniel's life, whether it's a friend, or just an individual that happened to see them, or maybe seen them arguing, or just something, right? I think those are the kind of things that they more want versus, go watch a tarot card reader. Not that I don't watch those, but go watch a tarot card reader at this channel or this, or, I don't know. Just, there's just a lot of craziness that goes with cases, sadly, but
Yeah, and there's a definite, and to me it's not even a fine line. There's a huge difference between complete speculation or, psychic readings and stuff to, like I said, something that was overheard or seen that the RCMP or investigators could track down to find out if it's true or not, if it is relevant or not. That's not for us to decide what's relevant to them. So, I mean, my whole point is I feel like everybody took the message that unless you can prove it, don't bother calling. I don't think that's the message. I think the message was
how it
if
came
it's
across.
something that they could, you know, if it's something based in reality that they could track down, yeah, I mean, I would still, and I mean, I have told
Full
a couple of
information.
people over the last couple of days to, you tip it in, I don't know, maybe my bad, but tip it in. I don't care. Tip it in. Melissa, I haven't heard from you for a few minutes. What's going on over there? What are your thoughts?
So going back to the Dollarama footage, to release a still shot from that of the kids or what they were wearing may jog the cashier at Acropole. Hey, these people came through a year ago. Man, they were really fighting in the car. Or I overheard this. Why, drive through people when you drive through, or, waitresses, bartenders, people like that, whether you want to admit it or not, they overhear your conversations more than you think. And it may jog their memory of, hey, I remember these people came through. Yeah, we've got pictures of Daniel. We've got pictures of Malaya. We've got pictures of the kids. But unless, like me, I can sit here and look at a picture and it may not ring a bell in my mind until I see exactly what they look like that moment. And that may jog somebody's memory of, oh yeah, I remember the little girl in that Barbie top because my daughter had the same one, or whatever. Like, why? I don't understand why in Canada you guys don't release that, because I feel like if this were a US case, we would either have the full video already, or we would have still shots from that video released to the public saying, hey, give us information. Did you see these kids? Did you see this car? Did you see X, Y, and Z on this day? Whereas we don't get that from Canada. And again, I go back to, I get it's freedom of information here versus you guys, but I think it would be helpful, even if it were a still shot, to jog somebody's memory of, hey, I remember that. I didn't think of it before. I didn't think it was important.
Hmm. Yep. And then we would have had the 911 call.
Yeah.
If it was the United States, we would have that 911 call. We could have heard Malaya speaking and her tone, what it sounded like, as she called it in and stuff like that. But unfortunately, we don't. So in Canada, we just simply have to rely on, honestly, like what we get. And I mean, we did get documents, released to us and stuff like that that I know we didn't expect, in Canada. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but thanks to the media, that wasn't law enforcement releasing that
yeah, it
to the
was true.
public.
Yeah,
That
you're
that
right.
was,
You're right. Mm.
and it's not. I don't think it's not. It's bizarre to me that they're asking for tips, verifiable, whatever he said, but they're not giving us any more information. So I just don't know what they expect. And in that sense, I totally agree with the message that Kent was trying to put out there today. Like, if you want our help, help us
Right.
help you by ruling some shit out. And I know it doesn't happen often, but it does happen. You can look at the Idaho 4, the Brian Kohlberger. They came out and they said, we have ruled Hoodie Guy out. The fraternity has nothing to do with this. You know what I mean? They can do those things. So the
Mhm.
fact that they aren't, and the speculation and the tips and this entire case online is absolutely unhinged. So the fact that they haven't come out and said, look, this is what it is, this has been ruled out. I mean, that leaves me no choice but to believe nothing has been ruled out.
Well, I mean, they basically said everything, and they did say everything is still on the table. But then when you read the article, they said, well, all possible scenarios or whatever. Well, what do you consider possible? Fill us in, like you said, help us help you. What are you looking at? What are you thinking? What are you needing? Because otherwise, you're going to have Joe Blow down the street calling in, well, so and so said this and so said that. And
It's a little bit
that doesn't help the
contradictory.
case.
So don't you think though it's a little bit contradictory of when they're saying that, because like they've doubled down so many times about the abduction, not believing there's an abduction, but yet everything's on the table. But yet, if there's one comment they always gear towards, it's that there's no proof of an abduction, and all the time you can hear it like as if like, no, we don't believe it's an abduction.
No
But yet
proof of
everything's,
abduction, no proof they're in the
but,
woods. Well, that
but
only leaves us so many options.
you know, uh, but yeah. But to me, I guess to me, it's just these conferences and that they just, they're just like recycled in a sense stuff, and we're not going to get any more information out of them, really. Like, so they did a press conference, so they answered some questions that we already knew the answers to, really. Like, there was nothing more to be gained, I don't think, from it. Um, Sometimes they've said stuff which like that gear towards the criminal side for sure. But they're not going to you know take it from a missing person to a homicide or whatever like that, or stuff like that for the kids. But I don't know, I just know that these cases, they do this, and then next thing you know, you don't really hear squat until they actually get an actual good lead, bodies, something that will propel them to give us more information. Tons of these cases spend 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, because the police hold like the information, what they call, that they can't give to the public, so close to the vest. And I just think that there's so many cases where they can give more information. And I think Jack and Lily's is a case that they could, but they're not. So we get stuck with those repetitive cookie cutter answers, you know, and nothing's going to change until some movement happens. So it's going to be same thing.
I agree. I agree. And people are talking about the hearing on Monday, and I'll just say this, that if the Crown is pursuing the charges, anybody can be subpoenaed, and if they can be compelled to testify, and if they have a lapse in memory, they can pull up any statements to refresh their recollection of events. And if they choose to lie, then they can be impeached based on their previous statements. So it's a big rabbit hole, nothing burger that people are worried about right now. It is absolutely nothing to worry about. I mean, this is not the first um, court case hearing where a alleged victim did not want to pursue or did not want to testify, which we have
Yeah.
no information to verify that, but they have ways of avoiding that. So it's not even a conversation to be had as of now. Maybe in the
Hmm.
future, if somebody goes to jail for contempt. However, I can't see it. I can't see it.
I
Um,
still feel,
Anything
Charmaine.
else you guys want to talk about?
Oh, well, I'll give you Melissa the opportunity before and then
No,
want that.
not from my end. I don't know. Today has just upset me and baffled me, and I just don't. The RCMP says they want specific or verifiable information. Well, define specific. Like, you're obviously looking at something, you're going down a specific road for you to say that. So, I don't know. I just feel like freedom of information would be helpful in this case, having the video. Um, that would dispel any of the, well, what were they wearing? Well, we know they weren't changed, so they're wearing what they were wearing in the Dollarama video. So why is it so hard to get this is what the children were wearing? I just don't understand today. My brain is not braining.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Melissa. Uh, this case brings on a lot of anger with this case, the frustrations of this case, um, just it all. I think seeing that vigil today, as much as we love the fact of all the effort Kent and others put into it and stuff like that, to have it was such a disappointment not to have anyone on open mic besides that 5-year-old, because Belinda and Kent, we expected Belinda to speak, of course, but just not to have anyone besides a 5-year-old go up there and just say a couple words for Jack and Lilly on the 1 year missing was totally a disappointment for me personally. It's real to me. It just really saddened my heart to even I'm angry because you just would expect it. I would have expected quite a few people to go up there just to say something, for Jack and Lilly, because it's 1 year since they've been missing. So, but the thing that I was going to say, Sherman, and I think if I just, if you don't mind, it was was talking about the Brian Walsh case the other day. And Brian Walsh, obviously, is a man that acted like he didn't do anything to his wife. His wife has, been murdered. And he Google searched all these different things, pertaining to how to hide, blah, 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 blah. And then they ended up charging him with another felony to keep him basically behind bars. I still feel that that's what's going on with this case. Just meaning with Daniel, I still feel in my heart that this is one of those things where you might not have this, but we're going to go for this. That's still how I feel about it. The one thing I do say that even though I could say a lot more, but I'm not going to because it's your channel and whatever. I appreciate the fact that Daniel reached out to you to ask to join the live. To me, the one thing I did appreciate that he talked about was things that Jack and Lilly liked, because I think sometimes we get lost in so much of this, the BS of the case, that again, Jack and Lilly, you look at their little faces on posters or on the screen and stuff. And, it's like, yeah, like, what did they do? Like, we already knew their favorite colors, really, but, you know, how was a typical morning, with Jack and Lily, and what they like to play, what they like to do, da 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 da. And as for the rest of it, honestly, I'll just say this: I haven't changed my mind yet. No, haven't changed my mind.
You kind of have to have new information to, evolve and it has to be, it has to, for a lot of people, it has to be pretty substantial new information to change your opinion. And whereas I still have my doubts about everything, I just chose to do things a little bit differently in hopes that people could talk, that people would feel more comfortable to share their opinions instead of just always, you know, like all we want to do is block people. And I'm not referring to you, Sonny, because that's back in the day, and you've been at this long enough to block whoever the hell you want to,
Yep.
um, based on other cases and things that you've personally gone through. However, when we're just jumping in this thing based on Jack and Lily's case, and you see just this vacuum going on, and anybody that doesn't kind of agree with and might voice like DT's channel, and now we've got the other channel that's the exact same, even worse. You just, I don't think we have the right to shut down conversations like that. If you're here for Jack and Lily, then you should be here to hear it all. And even everybody in this room has to admit that when Sunny does her live streams, she's not just blocking people for disagreeing with her. She's blocking people for getting ignorant or, for, things
Right now.
leading up to her blocking people. It's not like, somebody saying, my children went missing and there was nothing that could have stopped me from going to search for them and getting blocked for making that comment. I mean, that is exactly how you shut down open conversation, and that's just not what I ever wanted to be anything even remotely part of. And so no matter what anybody thinks of Daniel reaching out to me or me having Janie on here or opening the panel to whoever wants to come up. I got heat for allowing Daleen up after she gave me a cease and desist. Why would I shut them up? Why would I try to refrain them from speaking?
Is
Do you
that
know
the
what I mean?
season? Is that the season desist you were talking about, or was there another one?
No, I got another one from Cheryl, or a lawyer.
Oh,
I'll tell you about it. It was from
oh,
a
okay.
fake lawyer, but Cheryl wrote it. I
Oh,
didn't even darken your door with it, but I will because you probably used the giggle. So Sunny, just so you know, you could still do a live stream. You don't need to have like premium StreamYard and stuff. I'm just saying you could do like the odd stream, especially right now when there is stuff to talk about. There really is. And it looks like a lot of people do miss your perspective.
yeah, I'm
So
sure some do. Others don't. Some do. Some others don't. I don't actually even think about that stuff, to be honest with you. I at the end of the day, I just do me, right? And just like I expect everybody else to do themselves and stuff like that. And so, obvious, like there definitely are some things that Daniel said on the live today that I would like tackle a few of those things, right? Uh, a lot of things about Malaya doing stuff for the children, stuff like that. Um, but like I said, I wouldn't get into that here so much unless it was a topic we were talking about. I'm going to be respectful about that. Daniel, wanted to reach out to Charmaine today to talk on the live. And I still believe that whenever a family member involved in this case wants to talk, no matter what, if we believe them or not, that we should still listen. Oh my God, big ass B, get out of here. Really now. Shit. Fuck off. Go back out. Shit, big B. But anyways, um, yeah, I'll consider it. You know, I mean, there are things that it just kind of pumps you up again. Actually, more or less, it pisses me off a little bit, to be honest with you. You know,
Right, and it's really good, I think, to hear, even if you think you haven't changed your mind, if you were to get a little bit up to speed on some of the shit that's feeding into the things that are going on now, I think that your perspective is valuable as always. And I mean, because there is not a single person. Once in a while, I can tune into Clutch Them Pearls. But other than that, like everything has gotten so crazy and so mixed up that if I start to watch other content, then it's going to muddy my own
right?
purpose
Yeah,
here. Do you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
even for me, I appreciate hearing your perspective, even if we don't agree, we're not on the same page.
And we don't
Um,
have to be exactly.
exactly. We're adults and we can be friendly and respectful to each other. And you are my
Exactly.
dear friend, and I tell everybody that. But that's besides the point. I will listen to anybody who wants to talk.
Yeah, that big bee's on my roof now. It's like huge.
That's funny. This is the part where Sunny gets distracted by a bee. Melissa, what are your thoughts? I'm probably going to end it soon. It's almost 2 hours. I don't even know what this makes. 2, 4.5, 5.5, like almost 6 hours. I didn't beat Sunny. I didn't beat her record. But I mean, when you do these streams, it does take a lot out of you. But what are your thoughts, Melissa?
I really don't have any more than what I've already shared. I wish we knew where the kids were, and I wish that somebody knows something. The kids didn't disappear into thin air, so somebody knows something. And I wish you guys or person or whatever, however you want me to word that, would come forward and say, look, this is what happened, good, bad, indifferent, and give those that love Lily and Jack peace, and let the babies come home and be put to rest or be loved, either way. Um, it's been a year too long. And I think everybody at this point is getting, for a lack of a better way to put it, a little impatient. They just want the kids home. And I can't disagree with that.
I just wanted to put this comment up because Picto is a new viewer to YouTube, so they're not up to speed, and they certainly don't know Sunny. So, oh, Big Ass B, I thought he came into our conversation. Yeah, so not a YouTuber. I think that is the perfect note to leave things on. Just a little bit of a giggle. Pictou County Jail thought that Big Ass B might have been another YouTuber that Sunny was going to talk about. No, no, a literal big ass bee. You're muted, Sunny. Are you muted?
Hey, I think when I was talking about the bee, I hit my mic there, but big ass bee flew out the window. So bye bye bee, bye bye. Sorry, but there's nothing worse when you're sitting here and a freaking big wasp. Actually, it was a wasp, not a bee. Is sitting there like freaking, and this thing was huge. Okay, this thing was a huge, but I can't concentrate. I was just lucky that it flew back out the window it came in.
Yeah,
Anyways,
no kidding. Um,
but
yeah, the Sunny and Char show kind of what started this. Well, I mean, what started, I guess, and I gotta be honest with you, Sunny, I'm not even sure if I've talked to you about this, but when I see how crazy things have gotten with YouTube and the content, sometimes I feel guilty because we talk to everybody and we talk to anybody, and you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
everything that came out, we did our best to vet it the best we could, but like you brought Durwood in. No, we didn't bring him in. We didn't bring him in, but we did give him a voice. We did give him a platform, and that kind of backfired a little bit. You know what I mean? And some days I have this guilt, like, if only we had done things a little bit differently, maybe it wouldn't be as crazy. And then I snap back to reality and say, no, people are just fucked
you know it's
anyways.
gonna
Doesn't
be
matter what we did and what we didn't do.
I was gonna say, because between you speaking with Daniel, Durwood talking on live, Malaya messaging me in Messenger, all these people, why can't Haley, and stuff like that. You know, from the beginning of this, I mean, not to sit there and pat our own backs, but we did a lot, Ashar, for just trying to bring you guys like the facts of, when I say the facts, I use that loosely because it's all if you are believing somebody, but regardless, it's still people from the family members talking and stuff like that, And so, a lot of people like, at the very beginning of this case, tons of viewers and stuff like that, and all we wanted to do was just really care about Jack and Lily's case. And it's no different at this point either. Like, meaning, like Daniel, Malaya, right? Obviously, there are people on, the property, and Janie and stuff like that. At the end of the day, regardless, it still is about Jack and Lily. So Daniel could tell the truth, lie. Malaya can tell the truth, lie. At the end of the day, it really still boils down to, the fight for answers for Jack and Lily. And, that's really the end all to be all of this. It's like whatever happens with, say, Malaya or Daniel and blah, 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 in this case, what will be, will be. But two beautiful children here is where it impacts my heart because these children deserve the answers. They absolutely deserve to have answers for what happened to them and where they went, just like any child or person that's gone missing. And that will always be my fight. And that's why it's kind of like the other stuff. It's kind of like, yeah, okay, Daniel can speak and blah, 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 blah. But, or Malaya, whatever, can show up for searches. But great. What happened to Jack and Lily? That's all I really want to know at the end of the day, and they're the
Yeah.
most important things about any of the lives.
Yeah.
Jack and
And
Lily.
people don't like there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, right? Like a lot of people don't realize that in the beginning when we were having these conversations behind the scenes and trying to get information, there's like we ran down so much information that we never brought up because there was just no way to verify or even come close to vetting it. There was just no way. So it felt, and looking back still feels to me like it was an all day, every day, all encompassing. Like even when I was out on the boat on the lake, I was still doing phone calls with Sunny and Kent and doing research. And you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of work that Sunny put into this, and that I put
Absolutely.
into this at
A
the
lot of people.
beginning, and just trying to get good information out, and then everybody else just kind of started, you know, I don't want to say they jumped on because Justin actually covered it day one as well. But for whatever reason, those conversations weren't happening over there. But I mean, it was a
Yeah.
lot of work. And I think a year later,
Right.
um, I think at the end of the day, I do think that we did a good, I think we did, I think we did Jack and Lily justice in the first 6 months when we were together covering this case. And
I think we've always done justice for Jack and Lily. Our
yeah,
hearts are pure, Charmaine. That's what we know. We know that we're not in it for clicks and views and dollars and stuff like that, that we're in it for always the right reasons. And if anyone wants to take away from that, you know, um, kick rocks. Simple as that. Because it's, like I said, we know the efforts and the love that we have for this case. And to me, when you do it always from a place in your heart and a genuineness, that shines through. And that's why when Belinda speaks, her heart shines through about the care for her own grandchildren, and so when I'm listening to something and there's no genuineness or tone to it, then I have a hard time believing in those words by that person saying it, I always just look for sincerity, and in this case, it's sincerity for answers for Jack and Lily. And I think that, and I'll even give like hidden in the fog too, right? I mean, she had talked to Haley, and Cheryl, I think it was,
And
and stuff
Logan.
like that. And thank you, Logan. And again, thank you to all those people that talked on Charmaine's channel, my channel, you know, um, hidden in the fog's channel and stuff like that, and that still want to be voices for Jack and Lily, regardless. Anyways, that's it. I know you're tired. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that'll do for today. Hopefully we see Sunny live. And thank you, Melissa, as well, for all your hard work and for your document.
Thanks.
And that can't be understated. The
And getting your
importance and the
channel back.
value. Yes, and the value that you bring to this, to keeping Jack and Lily's faces and names out there. And you know, that's all we can do. That's what our role is here. I People like mainstream media always refers to us as online sleuths, and nothing is further from the truth. For me, I don't know if Sunny considers herself a sleuth, but I have no delusions of solving this case. I have hope to keep Jack and Lily's names out there and their faces out there and the conversation going so that somebody else can figure out what happened to Jack and Lily. Um,
Yeah.
but thank you, Melissa. Sorry I cut you off. I said really nice things and then I didn't give you a chance to say anything back. So, Melissa, thank you for everything that you've done over the past year as well.
Yeah.
I do it out of love. Anybody that, you know, knows me or has spent any time talking to me, like, you and Sunny,
Yeah.
I do it out of love. And
Absolutely.
I only want the truth, and I have no delusions that I'm going to crack this case or I'm going to solve it or I'm getting close to solving it. I just want the truth, and I want Jack and Lily home, no matter the outcome. And much love to Belinda and Chelsea, and I want to say thank you to Kent for putting it together. But yeah, you're welcome, everybody.
And Russia McDonald's new song is beautiful as well.
Yes.
All three of them have been. Mm.
Yeah, we should
Anyways.
try to get just a standalone version of that so that we can, we can play it a little easier. Today was kind of a shit show, but I think we did good. Thank you, ladies, for
Well,
joining me and supporting
3
today.
lives. Yeah.
And thank you to Kent, Belinda, to whoever that little girl is, that sweetheart. And thank you to Daniel for joining earlier. And thank you for everybody for being here tonight. And we're just going to keep on keeping on. Jack and Lily, everybody.
Jack and Lily.
Have a good night.